Well, hello! Welcome back to the show. It has been a while. It's been too long, actually. I think, a couple weeks now,
I
Zach?
don't know what happened to last week, to be honest.
So here's what happened to last week, right? So let's back up, okay? So the week of the 7th through the 13th, I was gone. I was still in the state of Iowa. Never left the state of Iowa, but I was not here in the area that I live. And I was with a group of like 30 teenagers having a fun time doing like service work for the week. So, and now Zach is like, well, that doesn't sound fun at all.
I was about to say, what on earth?
Um,
All right.
oh,
I mean, sue yourself.
different tastes, right? So for me, it was a ton of fun, and got to hang out with a bunch of fun people, things like that. I have like over 30 gigs of video that I took from the week that I now have to edit. So that's a thing, but ton of fun.
What did you even do?
It's a spiritual kind of like some might call it a mission trip. It wasn't really a mission trip. It's a week of
Generally,
like,
you'd go a little bit farther.
huh?
Generally, you'd go a little bit farther.
Right. So here's what happened. Right. So in the past, this has been something that so it's faith based is what it is. But this is something that my church has been doing for the last like 7 years, something like that, 7+ years. And generally we would go someplace, further away. In the past, I've gone to St. Louis, I've gone to Milwaukee, but this year they happened to have one right here in Iowa, and so we decided to stay in Iowa and do the week of service here. So I don't know why that choice was made. I had no say in that, but anyway, so that's what I did. Now, here's the thing about this, right? So they jam-pack your day full. You start at 6 in the morning. They wake you up at like 6:15, right? Then you got like a morning program. Then you go to your work site. Then by 12, you have lunch. By 12:45, you're back at your work site. Then you work till 3. Then you have some time to kind of relax until about 5 when you have dinner. Then at 7 o'clock, you have your evening program. That runs until, I don't know, maybe 9 o'clock, something like that. Then 10:30 is your curfew where you're supposed to be back in your rooms. And then 11 o'clock is lights out. So there you go.
What do you mean work? What did you do?
So I was a lot of it is like going to like residents' houses in the community that they have agencies that go around throughout the year and figure out what people need and who's going to be eligible for whatever it is. So some people did a lot of painting. Sometimes there's like small carpentry work, like putting drywall up, or we did some steps. We carpeted steps. So it can be a whole bunch of things. One year I worked with kids at a summer camp. So you never know what you're going to do till you get there. For me though, what did I do all week? We went to a very nice lady's house who had some financial issues. And let's just say she had a lot of stuff. And I mean a lot of stuff.
Just junk?
Yeah,
Just
probably.
items?
Probably some junk, but yes. Lots of items.
I just wasn't sure if stuff was meant to allude to something, or if it's just like a coverall term for.
No, it's a coverall term for like just like a lot of things. Like they had like they had like built a garage at the back of the house that spanned the entire width of the house, and the whole entire thing was just full of who knows what. So, yes. Have you ever seen an episode of Hoarders before?
Don't know, but I know what you're talking.
Yeah, a little bit like that. But no, super sweet lady, but Yeah, she just had a lot of stuff. So one of the main tasks, she had a bunch of clothes because she had, I think she had like 5 kids, ages like 7 to like 20 something, and so people would donate clothes to her, and so she just had boxes on top of boxes on top of boxes of clothes, and they were all just kind of thrown in there together. So she had us basically take boxes all week long, take them outside, figure out what was in them, sort them, fold them, then put them back in boxes.
Oh, okay. Well,
So
I mean, whatever floats your boat, I guess.
well, yeah, that's part of the fun. You never know what you're going to do all week. But anyway, so I said all that to say this. So here's what happened then, right? So we got back on Friday. Saturday, I was dead. Sunday, I was dead.
Oh.
Like I said, they jam pack you so full. Like Sunday, I just did not have the energy after the week to. Like I said, you're like.
I wouldn't have the energy to exist after that.
So anyway, no, for me, it was a very fun experience. And you know, we don't talk about politics. We don't really talk about religion on this channel either. But I will say this: it is a opportunity for me to, not only for me, but also the young people and everyone else there to explore their faith in a very well thought out environment. That's really they make it easy for you to do that. It's almost described as like being you're almost like in a bubble for the week, and even though you're interacting with the real world, you're not at the same time. It was actually really peaceful. Like taking a step back from social media and TV and like just all the worries of the world kind of a little bit. So
Is that one of those where you like don't bring your devices with you?
No. So everyone has their
Because I
phones and things
remember
like
when
that.
I was in middle school, I had to go to a church, like not a
So
good
so here's the difference about this. Most people who are there want to be there.
Well, you could say the same about the silly camp that I went to, but I didn't really want to go. I was kind of just plopped on the bus anyway.
Right? Yeah. No.
I snuck in my iPod Touch.
The one
And a
Apple
lot of
device.
people-
The one Apple device Zach actually
Look,
owns.
I got it for Christmas in like 6th grade. Calm down.
I was really
Also-
surprised when I saw that on Zach's like set of
Yeah.
like desk one day, and I was like, "What? Zach owns an Apple product?"
I have had that for such a long time, dude.
So, but anyway, no. So,
I don't know what it was doing there, though. I think I was like trying to get some junk off of it.
Oh.
Like, reaching around for something. I'm like, what if it's on there? I don't know.
But yeah, so anyways, no, here's the difference. Most of these are high school students. They want to be there. The week is structured really, really well. It's just it's a great program. They've been doing it for like over 20 years, so they've got it figured out. Because not only like do the young people that are there get a lot out of it, but also me as an adult got a lot out of it. And so that's why I went. Because like it's just it's a super cool fun week. Here's the coolest thing about this is that like I said, I went with a group of like 30 people. Out of the 30 people, I knew maybe like, and we're talking solely kids. I knew I didn't know most of the adults. I knew like 2 of the other adult chaperones that went, but out of like the kids, I only knew like 3 or 4 of them out of, like I said, 30 of them. And by the end of the week, like, now I know at least most of the guys. The girls were a little bit different story because they like split you up into different locations, and stuff like that. So, but yeah, and it's amazing how close everyone kind of gets to each other throughout the week. So, yeah. Anyway, so that's what happened there. That's why I was gone. That's why we didn't have a show. That's why we didn't have a show last week because yeah, after all that, I was just dead, and needed some time to recover. So anyway, but yeah, updates. Time for updates. You've got some updates. I've got some updates.
I mean, I built my computer, right?
Yes.
So I'm still kind of ironing out the kinks. I wasn't too happy with my CPU temperatures, so I've applied some fixes.
Are you overclocking? You don't need
a lot
to.
of modern CPUs. I mean, they just have that firmware that boosts like certain cores
See,
and identifies
okay,
the best ones.
you're
It's
gonna
just
you're
not
gonna
only
yell.
that, but Zen 2 doesn't even overclock very well.
You're
I'd be
gonna
lucky to get 4.1.
you're gonna yell at me because I did something that you're gonna be like, well, why the heck did you do that? But anyway, so I don't know if you can see over the corner here, but there's a brand new mouse, and the edge of something that is black now, not silver anymore. I did it. I finally did it. What did I do, Zach?
Oh, yeah, you got a new computer.
I
Well,
ditched Apple. No longer am I using a Apple portable machine anymore. My portable machine is now a Dell G7, which I got for an amazing price.
that really was crazy good price.
Yeah. So you don't blame me for picking this thing up now, do you?
No, I
So-
wouldn't have blamed you anyway.
Really? So you
Why
think
would I?
you
I
think
mean,
the
if
original?
you can afford it, so whatever.
Okay, but
Yeah.
you think the original price for the hardware that's in it was a decent price?
What was in it? Like a 1060 and an i7.
Yeah,
Isn't it at
i7
least it's the 6-core 12
Yeah,
thread, right?
it's 6 cores, 12 threads. Yeah,
How much was the original price?
like over 1,000.
Was it? I thought it was like 900 something.
No, it was over 1,000.
Oh, well.
Hold on. Hang
If it
on.
was in the 900s for the original price, then I'm pretty sure that's what I remember. And that would have been a good... That would have been a ridiculously good
Let's
deal.
see here.
It should have an SSD and a hard drive, right? I've worked on
No, it doesn't have it has an SSD in it, but no hard drive. I need to put a hard drive in it.
It doesn't have a hard drive?
No.
How much SSD space does it have?
Like 120.
So that's like a gaming laptop, though.
It is a gaming laptop, yeah.
And how are they? How many games are you supposed to be able to fit on that?
I don't know. Original price, $1,079.99
I mean, that's not terrible.
for the hardware
Even
that
if
was
you
in it.
factor in the fact that you'll need a hard drive, more than likely.
Yeah, I'm gonna put one in anyways.
What about the RAM 16?
No, actually, 8
Okay, maybe it's not that great.
for that
Maybe it's
original
not great,
price.
and maybe it's just like whatever.
Yeah, well, at least for the original price. What about the price I actually bought it for?
Well, like I said, that's pretty good.
Yeah, so I bought this thing for like $730, a little bit more than that.
Oh, that's just silly. Whatever.
Well, yeah, so I walked in with the intention to maybe buy something that day, but I was kind of like, I'm kind of just looking, but it was more than, you know what I mean? Like, you walk into the store and you're like, I'm kind of looking, but I'm like pretty sure I really want to walk out with something today. So, anyway, so
You just walk in and shop sometimes.
What do you mean? No, usually when I go into a store, like, usually I know what I want.
Yeah, same. I was just like, so what did you go in for?
I specifically went in to, like I said, I was thinking about it. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go over to Best Buy today. I'm going to walk in with the intention to go look at things and buy something. Like, I was like 90% sure that I was going to walk out of the store with something. And that was already in my head.
Okay.
And so, as I was thinking about it, because while we were on this trip, I did a short recap video about 3 minutes long and edited it on my mid-2012 MacBook Pro. It has an SSD in it, 8 gigs of RAM with onboard graphics, and it actually rendered a 3-minute video out in about real time, about 3 minutes. So that wasn't horrible, which is still good hardware. And it got me thinking, I was like, do I really need a discrete graphics card in the system?
It's not the hardware that does that, though. It's just the software that's designed to work for it.
No, I was using Premiere. Premiere likes the hardware.
Okay.
Final Cut, if I was using Final Cut, then yes, for sure. Final Cut is the software. But Premiere Pro, definitely hardware makes a difference. So it was a short video. There wasn't really much going on in it. Like, no color correction, anything like that. It was just literally clips tied together. So that's partially why. But anyway, so it got me thinking. I was like, do I really need a gaming laptop with a discrete graphics card in it or something like that? So I looked in the case of like open box stuff, and I was like, huh, they've got the G7 in there, $700, $730, and I'm like, okay, that's definitely a contender. But it wasn't like I saw that in there and I was like, yep, I'm going with that. I was like, okay, I'll think about that. And I also started looking at some of the other options there. I was looking at an HP. I don't think it was a Spectre. I think it was like a Envy or something like that.
Probably an Envy, yeah.
Anyway, so I was looking at that, and I called one of the guys over, and I was like, I have experience with the the Ryzen chip in my CPU, and I've talked with this guy before too, so I know I knew he knew hardware and things like that, and so I was like, I've had experience with Ryzen in my desktop, but not like on the mobile platform, and I'm kind of talking with him, like, what do you think about it? And what do you think about the graphics and things like that? Because I saw Radeon graphics in there, but I'm like, I'm pretty sure that these are just like souped up onboard GPU. Yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure these are just souped up onboard graphics.
I don't even know if they're souped up.
But anyway, yeah, I was like, okay, Vega graphics, whatever. That means nothing to me because I don't know anything about Vega. So I'm kind of talking to him and things like that, and I'm like, well, they've got a Dell over there in the case for like $730. And he's like, what? Like, he was taken back, and I'm like, yeah. So we go walk over there, and he looks at the tag, and it's like, condition, severely scratched. And he's like, what? Come to find out, minor scratches / severe scratches was actually what was written on the label. But anyway, so he calls one of the other guys over that has keys, we open up the case, and I'm expecting, like, maybe find some scratches in the screen or something like that. And we're looking at it, and we're like, there's absolutely, like, no scratches on this. There were some, like, fingerprints, but, nothing a little isopropyl alcohol can't, work out. And so, yeah, we're both looking at it and like, this thing is in great condition. And I'm like, you know what? For that price and what I'm going to get out of it and things, I was like, I don't think I can pass this offer up. So I took it. And it's been sitting here. However, here's the only thing, okay? And you're gonna yell at me for this. I turned off the turbo boost because it was driving me insane.
What's the point of turning it off?
Because with it on, like, literally, I would open a web page and the fans would ramp up.
That seems like a problem with the whatever controls the fan.
No, because I turned it off.
Some just crappy tuned fans, to be honest.
No, because I turned it off and it stopped doing it.
I know, but like, what? God, that's just so weird.
I know. And it was like literally just like, it would be sitting here and the fans would just be like, and they're not quiet fans because it's a gaming laptop, right? And I'm like, this is ridiculous, to the point where I almost was like, I gotta take this thing back. Like, it's not worth it. But yeah, as soon as I turned off turbo boost, like, like so I don't know if there's something tuning wise that needs to be done or what.
Yeah, I would maybe look into tweaking the fans, to be honest.
But yeah, it was stupid dumb. Like, I would like open up like Chrome, and then I would go to watch a video on YouTube, and like the fans would just be like they would ramp up. Dumb. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like, I'm not even, like, I can understand if I was doing something intensive like video editing or doing some like graphics editing in Photoshop, but literally opening Chrome, I'm like, what the frick is going on? So yeah, I had to turn off the turbo boost. That fixed the problem for now. We'll explore turbo boost in the future once I maybe do some reading and figure out what actually is going on with that. But anyway, yeah. So, oh, and I put another SSD in Redmond the other day. So I was editing this video, right? And so I was editing off of my homemade portable SSD. I basically took an SSD, put it in a hard drive enclosure, and was using that throughout the week to store all the video and stuff on, which worked out really well. And I actually edited it off that when I was using my Mac. But for some reason, it wasn't playing nice with Redmond when I was trying to edit off of it, and kept like disconnecting. So I was like, okay, well, this is stupid. So I was like, well, I'll just dump the footage onto the system, right? And then I thought about it, and I'd heard somewhere that Premiere actually does a lot better when your footage and stuff is stored on a separate drive other than the main drive that you're working, like other than the boot drive. And so I have a 1 terabyte WD Blue connected to the system, but obviously that's a spinning drive, and I'm like, that thing's gonna be slow. So I took one of the 120 gig SSDs out of one of the systems I had that I honestly wasn't using. I just threw one in there for, kicks and giggles. Pulled it out of there, formatted it, threw it in here, and now I have a dedicated 120 gigabyte SSD just for editing stuff off of. So it's going to be my edit bay drive now. So anyway, so Redmond's pretty souped up now. But yeah, so that's the updates on that. So how is your system build going?
It's fine. Although I had some trouble with oh my god. Like, this case is fine. I like this case. It looks nice, and it was.
Oh, so you got a whole new case.
Yeah. I didn't really
Wait,
want
so what did
to
you
go
need?
there.
You needed a new case, you needed a new motherboard, obviously new CPU, new memory?
And that is it.
Got it. So you're using the same GPU, you're using the same cooler, same
No, I
PSU?
actually did get a new cooler. I got a new cooler as well. And
Are
then
you air?
HD15S.
Oh.
Yes, air.
Oh, it's air? So you're not water cooling anymore?
No, that cooler was junk compared to this one. This is way better.
I see. So, did it come with the included cooler in the box? Yeah, it did, didn't it?
You want it?
No, I don't need it. But like you said that those coolers actually weren't that bad.
They're decent, but
Yeah, compared to the Intel
stock
crap.
Cooler, you don't want to. Intel just stopped including them with some.
Really?
Yeah, I mean they're so useless that it doesn't even matter.
Intel's like nobody uses them anyway, so we might as well stop.
I mean, yeah, like you could honestly knock at Intel for oh no, they're just cheap, but the fact is no one uses it. You can't really blame them for taking it out when no one was using
That's funny.
On some of the lower end parts you could totally use it, but I don't see why. You can go buy a 212 Evo Plus for $30.
Yeah, the 212 Evo is not a bad cooler.
So much better. It's going to be so much better than a stock cooler on Intel. There's not even a contest.
Well, and that's kind of what you said. The 212 Evo is what you suggested, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's very cheap and good.
Yeah. And yeah, that's what I'm using, and I think it's completely fine. So, sorry, I'm adjusting things still. It's been 3 shows since I've updated some stuff. But anyway,
I thought about getting a 240 or even a 360 millimeter radiator, and I was like, screw that. This cooler was way cheaper, and it's fine. It's good.
Hey, you finally have all 4, or what? How many DIMMs do you have? 4?
No, I only have 2.
Oh, really? Well, at least all of your DIMM slots work now.
I never actually did any testing to confirm whether that was an issue or not.
So what are you going to do with the old hardware? Are you going to hang on to it, or are you going to sell it? What are you going to do?
Well, I still have it. I mean, I don't know. I would definitely sell it.
You know what I think we should do? Honestly, you know what I think we should do?
What?
Is figure out how much, right? We've been trying to get Joe to build a system. This might be a good way to do it. You get rid of some hardware, he gets a build, and we know where the hardware came from, too. And for what he wants to do,
it most definitely works because I was using it not 2 days ago.
Yeah, and for the hardware that he's getting, what he wants to do, it should still be fine.
I think he kind of wanted to play some fairly heavy.
Yeah, but those are more graphics intensive, I think, than anything.
Maybe trying to play some city builder sort of games.
Yeah, it was a Sims
some
Tycoon
of those
game.
Can actually be pretty hefty for the CPU.
We'll have to look, but it might not be a horrible idea. Let's keep that in mind. We'll see. So, because you got memory, you got a CPU, you've got a motherboard. You've still got the old case too, don't you?
I still have it. Really could honestly, if someone were to buy that, Like I would definitely.
Like, what do you need? You
It
need
would
a.
be time to. It would be time to take everything out of that case and just like rinse it.
Wait, well, what does it need? It just needs a PSU, right? And a graphics card?
Yeah. All it needs is a hard drive.
Oh, and a hard drive. Well, he's already got one of those.
Oh, he has an SSD. I hope.
Yeah, he has an SSD.
That's good.
I mean, SATA, but it's still an SSD.
Matter.
Right, yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. We'll talk to him about that. That might be an option. It'd be kind of fun. Anyway, so, yeah. Oh, and you got a new phone, didn't you?
Well, man, I did. After 5 years, I did.
What was the hesitation up there?
After 5 years, I finally bit the bullet. I'm like, this thing has some screen burn-in on it. It's slow as balls. I can't even download like my own banking app.
Why the OnePlus 7 though?
Because I liked it.
Does it have a headphone jack?
No, it does not.
So why didn't you get a Pixel then?
A Pixel? The Pixel has like 4 gigs of RAM. I'll be wanting a new phone in a year and a half.
all right. I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Slow and no.
Well, I thought you were also going to look at a Samsung.
I had a great experience getting, like, way back a nice phone. It lasted a long time. I mean, it still works. You know, it just has some screen burn-in, which you might notice sometimes, and the battery's not great, and it's pretty slow, but, you know, it works. It functions. Like, you know, so I will get something nice again.
Right,
I'll
but
use
why
it for a long time again.
didn't you get another Samsung then?
Because I don't like some of the choices that Samsung has made.
Oh yeah, the Bixby button.
Well, that's only the beginning. I hate the idea of a dedicated hardware button for a piece of crap software. I'm sorry,
Samsung. Hang on. I'm sorry, Samsung, but like, honestly, Bixby I think is even worse than Siri.
Apparently, they've got Bixby 2 now.
Oh, joy! I won't be using it.
Oh boy!
You know what? It'd be awesome if you could remap that button to utilize like the Google Voice Assistant or something like that.
Why would you need a button for that? You can just say the magic word and you know, get Google. Like what?
Right? Yeah. So anyway, what about
yeah.
wait, hold on.
Great,
what about
actually,
your stance on not that you really have any options unless you want to go for a cheap phone, but what about your stance?
Jack.
What about your stance on must have removable battery?
It doesn't exist anymore. I took a look at those 2 things that I wanted, a headphone jack and a removable battery. That'd be real cool. And then I was like, oh. There is like nothing that exists anymore.
Not a flagship, at least. Not a flagship.
Well, hardly any.
No, the
high end, mid range.
No. The cheap Samsung phones still do.
Oh, okay. Well, look. Let me tell you something. So,
wait. Hang on. Okay.
What?
Your phone does have a removable battery, just not by you. My phone has a removable battery.
What do you even have? I honestly
forgot. I have the S9. Honestly,
okay.
I think you should have gotten the Bixby button, but still, like, this is still a great phone. It's a flagship. It's not the newest thing in the market, but it's still good. It's a Samsung. You've had good luck with them, and it has a headphone jack.
Even the S10e, which is like the El Cheapo S10, was more expensive. The S10e actually has one. I was like, oh, that's kind of
yeah. Some of the Google Pixel 3a has a headphone jack.
Another thing that really bugged me about the S10 was just like, why is there a hole in the screen for the camera?
The freaking hole punch. That is the stupid. So does yours have a notch now?
It does not have a notch. It does not have a hole. It has a sliding up camera that I won't ever use.
Oh, that's kind of a cool feature, but
it is kind of cool, but I don't use it. I don't care. Anyway,
I like this idea. I think that this should be, and like there are people like you and me who really do not use
well, it's
the
designed to still be usable.
the
And
selfie camera.
You know, they talk about how it's tested for like 300,000 uses
Right,
and it will
but-
still work.
but-
you know,
but
'cause
here's
people
the
are
thing.
afraid that since it has moving
Right.
parts, it will fail.
But here's the thing, right? Is there are people like you and me who will never. I shouldn't say never because I use the selfie camera sometimes to like take pictures of like the team and stuff like that. Like when we win the trophy for the month if we do well in sales. But anyway, but other than that one use case, I never use my selfie camera for anything. So like, I wonder if manufacturers would consider building phones without a selfie camera in them.
I don't think they will because I think a lot of people do want to have it. I think too many people want to have that. But in any case, I've actually, in doing my homework on this, because that's what I do,
I know.
I did.
That's why I
discover
named you
there
the
are
chief hardware specialist, chief of hardware at one point in time.
Companies have come up with some interesting concepts to eliminate the knot or eliminate the bezel.
Well,
for the camera.
okay, and some of
And-
them are working on putting the camera under the screen, which I think is going to be a really cool thing.
I bet its first iteration will be terrible, and maybe in the
I
next
think
2 or
you're
3
probably
more
right.
iterations It will be. I've actually
I didn't say it was going to be great. I just think it's going to be cool.
I've discovered that about this thing's under the screen fingerprint scanner. It's actually pretty good. It's
Oh,
really
so that has
good.
an under the screen
It's
fingerprint.
very good. It works really well, but the one drawback is that it's an optical system. So in the dark, it doesn't work great. It works like okay in the dark.
I see.
whatever.
I'm
Doesn't
looking
really
at
matter.
I'm looking at this right here. Like
I was
it
seeing
actually
some
looks really
complaints
nice.
about the Samsung one, which is ultrasonic and doesn't seem to work as well, or at least isn't as. But that is cool. I like that a lot. There are a few downsides. It does have no IP rating and no wireless charging, but those are two things that I can't even be bothered with. I don't care. I don't
I was
go
about
swimming
to
with my
say
phone.
like
I don't own a wireless charger. I don't really care about the wireless.
yeah, I know
charger.
you don't.
Why
own a
would I
wireless
use
charger.
a wireless charger when this thing with the included power adapter will charge this thing from 0 to full in less than an hour? Which is
It looks
crazy.
nice on the back. So what is that
It's
like?
glass.
3? Well, yeah, of course it is. Wait, it's glass, but does it have wireless charging?
It doesn't have wireless charging.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's glass and it doesn't have wireless charging.
It does not.
That's weird.
I have
'Cause
seen
usually-
another reason cited as being that metals on the back can interfere with antennas.
Oh, okay. Because typically the decision to go with glass is because when you're wirelessly charging, it works way better at that
That
point.
being said, because it's made of glass on the back and obviously the front, I would absolutely not use this without a case. It is also, it doesn't feel very secure in your hand without a case.
What color did you get?
It's just black.
Oh, I'm looking at the red one right now. That thing looks slick.
There's like a limited color as well. I can't be bothered. Whatever. I put a case on it anyway. Like, doesn't matter.
Right? Yeah.
I just got like a cheapo case on Amazon. It's fine.
I like that.
Whatever.
A cheapo case on Amazon.
There is so many cases on Amazon. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what device you have. You can find some like crappy case for less than $10. And I say crappy, but it's fine. Whatever.
Do you know what brand you got for a case?
Honestly, I threw away the package. I don't even remember. I'll go look at my Amazon history. Hold on.
I'm just curious because I know some brands that are like actually decent, but
It
anyway.
started with a K, and it was some like no name.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
It was like $8.
I was looking to see if you got like Incipio makes good stuff. I don't know if they make stuff for the OnePlus, but I mean this looks like a pretty slick phone. I'm looking at it right now.
It is real awesome.
What's the Android experience like the built like the stock or I shouldn't say stock, but what's the Android experience like in terms of bloatware and all that stuff?
It is next to non-existent. Netflix came installed, but I mean, the only thing I like, as soon as I got it, I completed the initial setup. And one thing that I am super huge fan of is that OnePlus will let you unlock the bootloader and do anything you want with their device right out of the box. They don't care.
That's kind of
And
cool.
that is the number one reason why I did not even consider getting a Samsung phone, because I knew I wouldn't be able to root it or do anything.
Right.
I actually don't do that much with the root access. I just use it to customize it a little further to my liking. But anyway, there's it was not even a thought in my mind. Like, nope, not interested. Not interested unless I can root it, whatever. But like, all I had to do was just go in the settings, enable developer mode. Hey, enable bootloader unlock. Okay, reboot. Awesome, we got it. Now when I reboot the phone, it like it has like a little warning pop up. Warning: the bootloader is unlocked.
That's kind of funny, but that's cool though. That is really cool.
Yeah, it's not like a like a graphic or anything. It's like think when you go into recovery mode on your phone, it looks like that.
Okay. Interesting.
So,
well,
it's like it makes it sound all scary. Ooh, he unlocked the bootloader.
Right.
Ooh, the madman.
How about some tech topics?
Sure.
So, the show has become more of a just like, let's just like, BS for a while and have fun and things like that. But anyway, Verizon has launched its first 5G hotspot for, any guesses how much this little device is going to set you back, Zach?
Wait, the 5G hotspot? I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
I already know the answer.
How much?
Like $600.
Yeah, $650. How do you already know the answer?
Because I saw it on my Google, when I was opening Chrome for something, it popped up and I clicked on it. I was like, that's funny.
$650.
It's funny because Minneapolis St. Paul is actually one of the few places which have 5G networks rolled.
Well, okay, but you know what? Okay, so Minneapolis is
enjoy that if you have a capped plan, a data capped plan, enjoy that 30 seconds of 5G data.
Right. Well, okay, so here's the thing though. So Minneapolis is a pretty big, when you're looking at big cities, Minneapolis is actually pretty decent size, so I'm not surprised.
The other thing is apparently the 5G is it's not great yet. If you have your phone oriented wrong or you're standing in I don't know, I'm standing in the shade under a tree on a Tuesday, it doesn't work.
I think you're right. I think it's still very iffy.
Particular about how it wants to work.
Well, I think
you can get 2 gigabits on 5G.
Is true.
If you stand in the middle of an open field, with no clouds in the sky,
right,
and you hold your phone up, and you get 2 gigabits. Woo!
But here's the question: is true 5G actually here yet? I don't think it is. I think it's still in the very early stages.
I mean, it exists. Yeah,
it exists, but is it truly 5G, or is it just
no way? Honestly,
right? Because
everyone who buys a 5G phone now,
everyone in all the telecommunication companies are gotta be the first to get there because it's super important. So I think the whole thing has just been very rushed.
I just don't. Anyone who buys a phone these days for expecting it to work now is a fool.
Right? Yeah, the technology just isn't quite here yet.
It would work.
Yeah,
but I mean, I could see someone like me who doesn't buy a new phone very often. Wants to get a 5G phone.
But here's the problem.
They think that in a few years it might be usable. But
right? But
just no.
Is it going to be compatible with 5G now? The 5G now 5G or the 5G in the future 5G? I don't know how much
the future isn't going to change.
Oh well, yeah, but I don't know how the technology might change because it's still in the early stages. So
Nah, I don't know about that. I think that it's not going to change much. Just it's going to be rolled out to more places. Coverage will improve, obviously.
I still think that they've got some tweaking to do.
I'm not entirely sure the standard itself or what they're doing with it will change much. I feel like if you bought a 5G phone now, you know, and let's say, 2 years from now, it would probably still work pretty similarly.
So,
Although 4G has changed significantly,
Mm.
and I'm not even close to able to tell you in what ways. I have not really looked into it.
yeah, but Verizon has announced its latest 5G device. It is the Inseego 5G MiFi M1000. Runs you $649.99, and that's before you factor in the monthly cost of data, which
It's
is
like
gonna
$80 a month or something.
no. $80 not for the unlimited data only. For the unlimited with 5G ultra wideband, costs you an extra $10 a month, so $90 a month for 50 gigs of 5G data per month. That throttles down to 3 megabits per second, so 50 gigs at 5G. Then you're down to 3 megabits per second. Then 15 gigabytes of LTE data, which then gets throttled down to 600 kilobytes per second once you use that up.
Oh, I'll sure enjoy my 30 seconds of 5G data before my cap runs. When I buy this device for $600.
And it's only for downloads. Uploads will still be at LTE speeds.
Oh yeah, that's obvious. I do enjoy that though. Like 50 gigabytes. Oh yeah, you get 50 gigs of data.
Yeah, here it is right
okay.
here. Verizon has...
How fast is my 5G connection? Let's say it's a gigabit. Oh, I'll enjoy my less than a minute.
Here it is right here, Zach. Verizon has announced that St. Paul, Minnesota will be the 5th city to get its 5G service, joining Denver, Chicago, Minneapolis, and Providence.
I'm an idiot. I lied. So we're talking about gigabits here, right? So it would be like times 8. You'd get like 6 minutes of 5G data. Sorry, Verizon. I misspoke. 6 minutes.
Oh, and this is going to be specific to the downtown,
like
Lower Town, and West 7th neighborhoods, along with a few major landmarks like the Museum of American Art. Verizon has previously promised that 30 cities across the U.S. would have its 5G service by the end of the year.
I really don't understand this 5G thing. It's so silly. Until it actually just works, wherever you go. What's the point?
Speaking
What's the point of being an early adopter?
Yeah. Speaking of it just works, let's talk about a company that's motto is it just works.
Oh, is it Apple?
Yeah. Apple is silently updating Macs again to remove insecure software from Zoom's partners. Apple informed The Verge that it has sent out a silent security update to Macs to remove software that was automatically installed by RingCentral and Zoomoo. Those video conferencing apps both use technology from Zoom. They're essentially white labels, and thus they had Zoom security flaws. Specifically, they installed secondary pieces of software that could take commands from websites to open up your webcam in a video conference without your intervention.
So, is it a great time to say that my workplace uses Zoom occasionally? I wonder if they know anything's wrong with it.
You might want to let them know.
I should probably question someone about that tomorrow.
You know what I found that was actually really cool? They're making physical software buttons, or hardware buttons, I should say. Physical hardware buttons now.
Physical software buttons.
Physical software buttons, I like that. Physical hardware buttons on the side of the HPs that actually disable the camera.
I once saw a Samsung computer with it had this little switch on the side, and when you switch it, a little shutter would go over the camera.
That's kind of cool.
That's funny.
That's kind of cool. And here's this. Then
you see the people that duct tape over the camera.
I know, right? Yeah.
Band-aid over it, or a sticker.
Yep. The
Band-Aid's my favorite.
Right, yes, yep, that one's my favorite. Even uninstalling those apps wouldn't remove the secondary web server, which would mean that many users would get the software vendors updates fixing the issue. But that means Apple is best positioned to remove the offending software, and Apple intends to fix the issue for all Zoom's partner apps. Okay, interesting. So removing the software apparently does not remove the vulnerability. It's kind of interesting. Let's see. So the other day, the additional issues arose from further research into Zoom's partner apps, but the larger problem of Zoom installing a secondary web server that could potentially be insecure began with a zero-day disclosure on July 8th. Since then, Zoom itself had been scrambling to come up with the right solution for users, including an about face on whether such an update was even necessary in the first... Wait, what? Whether a update was even necessary in the first place. I don't know how I feel about that.
How about instead of all of this hullabaloo or whatever you want to call it, how come whoever makes the software can't just fix it?
Well, yeah, that's Zoom, I guess. But, yeah, I don't know. Things get so screwy with software and things like that. Let's see. Oh! Well, okay, but here's the issue. So, apparently, Zoom ultimately decided that it was worth the update, but couldn't remove software for users that had uninstalled its main app. Because here's the problem. So, and this sounds like an issue somewhere with the installer or the uninstaller where it's not cleaning up stuff that it should be for whatever reason. Because you uninstall the main app, right, and it still leaves the web server behind, which still keeps the vulnerability.
Yeah, that's kind of dumb.
So, so Apple issued its first silent patch to remove Zoom's extra software on July 10th, and the other day updated. The other day's update is essentially part of the same migration. So the core issue stems from a change Zoom made to its video conferencing software to work around a security update Apple had made to Safari. Safari was recently updated in such a way that it required users' approval to open up a third-party app every time, and Zoom wanted to keep users from having to deal with that extra click. Oh, great. Okay.
Oh, come on. Oh, my God. Oh, our users are too stupid to make that extra click when they're...
So that required installing a web server that listened to calls to open up Zoom conferences, combined with the fact that it was common and easy for Zoom users to have their default set to have video on when joining a call, and it became possible for a malicious website with an iframe to open up a video call on your Mac with the camera on. Here's the thing, though. This might only be isolated to just Macs. Or do you have Macs in your new environment?
No, we don't have any Mac.
So it might just be
all of our workstations are those little Intel NUC.
Oh, so they're like thin clients.
Oh, they're not thin.
No, they're NUCs. No, I'm sorry. NUCs actually have dedicated hardware in them.
Like full hardware in them, yeah.
Huh, interesting. So is everything running back to like not every machine's like everything's on a domain, isn't it?
Of course, yeah. There is actually one user who I don't really know anything about who has a local.
Really? But
apparently she's a special or something.
But other than that, everything else is on the domain.
Of course, yeah.
Interesting. Cool. So, I'll ask you later. Never mind. I'll ask you later. Let's see here. Yeah. Interesting. Moving on. It is time for Microsoft news this week. So, I just kind of saw this story as I was like browsing through topics. So, Microsoft has pulled the Windows 10 May update from some Surface Book 2 devices over GPU issues. Did Microsoft have an issue with, I don't know, having to pause and pull back updates? I don't know. Like last time they sent a major update out? Come
Not a
on,
great
guys.
time to do that, huh?
Come on, guys. Like, I don't know. I just don't know anymore. It's comical, but yeah, Microsoft is putting a compatibility hold on its Windows 10 May 2019 update for some of its Surface Book 2 laptops due to an issue where the discrete NVIDIA GPU can, oh, I love this, vanish from the device manager on the OS.
You know, I remember an issue way back where those Surface Books used to like blue screen or something occasionally when switching from dedicated to integrated graphics.
Really?
Or the other way around, maybe. I don't know. This is kind of weird. It was like way back though when the first Surface Books came out.
Yeah. This in turn causes apps or games that rely on the GPU to have issues. Really, Zach? I didn't know that.
You mean to tell me that apps which require a dedicated GPU might not work correctly when they don't have a dedicated GPU? Huh. Like, as in when the dedicated GPU is, just
my favorite part. Huh. My favorite part of this whole article so far is, due to an issue where the discrete NVIDIA right here vanish from the device manager on the OS. Just poof. Well, just gone. Poof.
I mean, they weren't wrong.
So the problem affects a small subset of Surface Book 2 devices. Only high-end models with discrete NVIDIA GPUs. No, really? Really? Did you? Okay, let's see here. Hey, Zach.
Hey, what's up?
So this is an issue that affects the discrete graphics card in the system. If I don't have one in my Surface device, does it affect it? Does it still affect it?
I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe we should consult the manual.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Like, some of how this is written is just like, really? Yeah, the problem affects a small subset of Surface Book 2 devices. Only the high-end models with the discrete NVIDIA GPU. Yes, thank you, The Verge.
Oh, goodness. Thank you for correcting my confusion.
Right? But it is all the more noticeable for occurring on Microsoft's own in-house hardware.
Yeah, that's okay. You'd think that Microsoft makes the hardware, Microsoft makes the software for it. You'd think they could get it working.
Yeah, about that. I mean, Microsoft made the hardware and Microsoft made the software. Think about that.
Oh, are you perhaps insinuating that Microsoft might screw one of those two things up?
Or both of them? I mean, it has happened before. Just saying. Anyway.
Oh, come on, don't be so silly. That's rude to Microsoft.
I know, right? Hey, this is why this became a staple of the show. Because Microsoft. Anyway. Until the company can resolve the issue, though, Surface Book 2 owners with NVIDIA hardware won't be able to download the May 2019 update. Okay, thank you. It's not the first issue that Microsoft has had with the May 2019 update either. As ZDNet points out, the company had to issue a similar hold for devices with USB storage devices or SD cards attached due to inappropriate drive reassignment during installation. Really?
Okay.
Fortunately, the fix in that case was simpler. Just unplug your external storage while installing. But I shouldn't have to. It should just work.
That's like a simple thing, but at the same time, if you had that happen to you and you didn't know about this, what would you do? You'd be a little confused.
But this is the issue. That shouldn't happen.
Like, don't they test this?
You know what? I was just about to say that. I think this is what the issue is. I think in Microsoft's attempt to make Windows a service and frickin' pushing updates down to systems without your consent and installing them, I think it creates more problems. Because think about it. In the past, right? When you had the option to just download an update and install it when you wanted, right? I think, not only did it eliminate a lot of these problems because somebody would install it, right, and then realize, oh, hey, there's actually an issue with this update, just don't install it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, but not only that, but if you initiated the update and all that, and then some issue crops up, it might make more sense to you that, oh, I understand why this issue occurred. I just did an update. That's probably what happened.
Right. Versus it
But,
just stops
like,
working.
I couldn't even begin to tell you the number of computers that I worked on that, the user had not done anything, but an update happened and made some stupid crap happen, and the user didn't know that there was an update. So they were like, "Oh, I didn't do anything." But no, an
That's
update
right,
happened.
because you didn't
ask for it,
right.
But Microsoft said you're getting an update.
Right.
Now.
And you're right. They didn't do anything.
Like,
it was
it's not even
Microsoft's
their
own
fault.
dumb rear end saying, "Oh, hey, let's just update your device." Oh, I'm sorry. You were enjoying using Windows 7. Hi, let's try Windows 10. And we're not going to give you an option.
10 is better. It's a bigger number.
Here you go.
We know what we're because we're Microsoft and we know what you want. We know what you want.
Oh, man.
You cannot question us. If you question us, that just means that you don't know what you want. But we do.
Microsoft
Fortunately for you, we know what you want, and we're gonna.
Microsoft was making some really good strides right there for a while with, like, opening up like development of things, and like I don't know, there were some if you look back at future shows, like future shows, past shows.
Back on future shows.
Man, I'm just having issues with words today. But if you look back at past shows, right, we've talked about where we've given praise to Microsoft for doing good things. I think the thing is, though, this is what Microsoft needs to do. They need to first get over this whole culture of we just need to automatically update your stuff when we feel like it. That whole concept right there just needs to be no. Because it doesn't work. It creates way more problems than it needs to. I mean, let's look at it. Like, Microsoft has screwed up the last, 2 update cycles now? Like, within the last 2 major update cycles, right? There's been an issue. Shall we recap on the whole, oh, by the way, you apparently didn't want your data. We're just going to delete it for you.
Oh, because we're Microsoft. We know what you and we know that you definitely don't want any of those files. They're useless. They're just taking up space on your hard drive.
But let's
you know that when your hard drive has less space used up on it, it's faster. Okay, so we're gonna delete some of that stuff.
But let's look at that. And then with the last major update, where like they had to pause it because there were issues with, with this inappropriate drive reassignment thing now, and now discrete graphics cards just disappearing out of your device manager. It's funny, but like now I'm coming back to that whole, oh, you need more RAM? Just install more RAM. You get it?
Just download more RAM.
No. What I'm saying is because your GPU disappears now. Oh, it must be your GPU must be software. Oh, you need more graphics power? Just install a new GPU.
Oh, I wasn't quite paying enough attention.
You get it now, though,
there
don't
we
you?
go. Now I see what you did there.
Now you get it. But yeah, I think this whole culture of we just need to push because we want Windows. I think this whole culture wanting to make Windows 10 the best operating system ever has ultimately backfired in Microsoft's face more than once, because it really, like, Windows 10 is not horrible, but it's definitely not the best operating system I think that Microsoft has ever built.
Frustrating because of how good it could be if like Microsoft would just use a couple of brain cells. Well, they're not that stupid though. They know what people want. They do. Like, I was just joking about that, but they know what people want.
Right.
They just weigh the pros and cons, and they're like, well, that's not a good business.
But I think see, and here's the thing. Microsoft doesn't have the culture that Apple has. When Apple does something, people are just like, okay, whatever. Like, we're going to go along with it because we follow Apple, and like, all hail Apple, right? Microsoft doesn't have that, though. For a long time, Microsoft has been, let's please the customer. Now I think they're starting to move into more of that Apple-like mentality where, oh, we just know what you want, we're going to push it to you, whether you want it or not. And we've seen that backfire on them multiple times. Shall we look at the Metro Start menu in Windows 8?
Now, let me also say that, Microsoft, they know what you want. They're not going to give you what they're going to give you what they want you to have.
Well, yeah, and that's what I think is so stupid about this whole Windows as a service thing now. However, I did hear something, however, though, that, like, within maybe the next 3 years, you won't have to pay for Windows.
That doesn't surprise me, to be honest. Like, you know, it's
because
it's never been difficult to, you know, obtain Windows for free or anything like that, you know, and Microsoft makes so much money just off of, you know, the stuff that you can do within Windows.
Right, and well,
so
yeah,
Microsoft probably wants you to have it whether you're paying for it or not.
Right, and here's the thing too: is with the way they built Windows 10, let's collect all your telemetry data. Who knows what they're doing with that data? Even if they're not farming it out to somebody, they're still utilizing it for their own personal growth. You know.
Yes.
Like, that data is invaluable to them because it can tell them what specific users are doing on their devices. And from there, they can make decisions about how they want to market content to you and things like that. Whether it be through your operating system, which, by the way, Microsoft, thank you for putting ads all over the frickin' place in my OS.
Thank you for, by default, having, like, trash, like, on the lock screen. Like, that's really good.
Right, yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. I'm conflicted. Like, I like Windows 10, but I also hate Windows 10. So, speaking of which, I actually need to put anti-spybot on my G7, actually, if I'm thinking about it right now. Anti-beacon is
anti-spybot.
Anti-spybot. Did I say spybot? Dang.
You said anti-spybot.
Anti-beacon. I knew it was anti, and then the program I'm most familiar with them is Spybot Search and Destroy. But yeah, anti-beacon is what I need to put on there. If you've never used anti-beacon before, simplest program in the world. It is awesome. It disables all that telemetry crap, and supposedly blocks it from going back to Microsoft. So I don't know. It might just be a placebo effect, but you know. Anyway,
I'm fairly sure it's been tested, hasn't it?
I don't know. Probably. But anyway.
I honestly don't know.
So, moving on. We love making fun of telecommunication companies. Sprint says hackers access sensitive subscriber info through a Samsung website.
Oh, why did they do that?
So Sprint is informing customers, as of the other day, of a serious security breach that has exposed subscriber information like billing addresses, phone numbers, and other detailed account information, according to ZDNet. The breach is a result of a vulnerability the details of which are currently unknown, in a Samsung website advertising an add a line feature for active Sprint account holders. Sprint explained the breach in a letter sent out to consumers that was obtained by ZDNet. In the letter, Sprint says it was informed of unauthorized access back in late June. So on June 22nd, Sprint was informed of unauthorized access to your Sprint account using your account credentials via the Samsung.com add-a-line website. We take this matter and all matters involving Sprint customers' privacy very seriously. Can anyone say standard PR speak right there?
I can.
Literally, like, isn't that, like, that literally is like a line out of the guidebook for every time a PR email is sent out. We take this matter very seriously. What information was involved? ? The personal information of yours that may have been viewed includes the following: phone number, device type, device ID, monthly recurring charges, subscriber ID, account number, account creation date, upgrade eligibility, first and last name, billing address, and add-on services. No other information that could create a substantial risk of fraud or identity theft was acquired. Sprint says it reset PIN codes on affected accounts to secure them within 3 days. But the company is leaving out some crucial details at the moment, of course. We don't know how many accounts were affected, how long the information was exposed, and what the nature of the vulnerability was that allowed hackers to access the information through a third-party campaign website, especially one as large as, hopefully, equipped to handle, especially one as large and hopefully equipped to handle threats like these as Samsung. So, yeah, there you go. I will say this: Sprint is literally garbage in my area. Unless you're going up like
Never used.
yeah,
Couldn't
unless
tell
you're
you.
going up I-35. Like up and down I-35, you're fine, but as soon as you get away from like I-35, it's literally garbage. Literally garbage. So. Oh, and another story about a telecommunication company. Another company that's complete garbage is AT&T, and here's why: they're being sued for selling customers' location data.
Oh my! I might just faint from the shock.
Anyway, yeah. So AT&T was sued by Electronic Frontier Foundation the other day for selling customer location data to third parties after controversy erupted earlier this year over wireless carriers' data practices. You know, is anyone surprised that like your cell phone provider is collecting data on you? Like that right there is just, you know, that's a fact. And then they're using that information to either market to you or do whatever or sell. Like, I guess I'm not surprised with this, but like, this is one of those crummy things that telecommunication companies do. That
Well, joke's on them because I use ad blocking software religious.
yeah, I know you do.
So, go ahead, advertise to me.
So the activism group proposed or that filed the proposed class action suit the other day on behalf of AT&T customers in California. The suit also names two other companies, Location Smart and Zoomingo, which have acted as data aggregators, collecting location information and selling it to third parties for commercial use. AT&T has knowingly breached its duties to protect plaintiffs' sensitive location data in order to profit from it, the suit reads. Yeah, well, yeah, of course they did. Telecommunication companies will do anything to make more money. So, under federal law, the suit continues. AT&T is bound to secure the sensitive customer information, but has failed to do so. The suit also accuses the company of misrepresenting its privacy protections to customers. Yeah. So, anyways, maybe we should change our passwords. Slack reset thousands of users' passwords 4 years after a hack.
Okay.
Yeah, Slack says it's resetting the passwords of some of its users after new information has come to light about a security breach from March 2015. Oh, man. You know, it doesn't surprise me, but it surprises me every time we hear a story like that. Like, why did it take so long? What else? Oh, excuse me. The 2018 MacBook Air is $800 at Micro Center, the cheapest price it's ever been.
A lower price, probably.
Here's what you get. So it's the base model, Ace Gen Core i5, 8 gigabytes of RAM, 128 gigabyte SSD.
And how much will this run you?
Well, $800.
Okay.
Down from 1,199.
Okay.
But even still, for that hardware, like, yeah. Anyway. And let's see what else. Pedestrian collision puts Vienna's driverless bus trial on hold. You don't say. A self-driving bus trial taking place in Vienna, Australia, has been paused after an incident occurring between a pedestrian and one of its vehicles. Hopefully everyone's okay, but yes, okay. I forget. Are you on board with the whole driverless technology, or
Sure. Why not?
I just don't think it's quite there yet. I think it's the problem. Actually, we know it's not quite there yet.
If it
Exhibit
was
A,
there, it would be more widely available.
yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that's really what I got for this week. I don't have anything else. So, we BS'd for a while. We talked about some tech topics. Yeah. So, anyway. But, yeah, I don't have anything else. I always love this. I'm going to point this out. I love how by the end of the show, I'm usually sitting here, like, in this very, like, laid-back kind of, like, position. Whereas, like, when I start the show, like, I'm sitting upright and things like that. It's kind of funny, but, yeah. So, anything else you want to talk about this week?
No.
No? Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't have anything either. So, with that, thanks for joining us. If you liked, like. If you didn't, dislike, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And yeah, we'll see you next week on the show. So, yeah. Bye.